You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, and welcome to Working Like Dogs on Pet Life Radio. Thank you for joining us today. We're your hosts. My name is Marcy Davis, and my other host is my service dog, Whistle. And we're thrilled that you're here with us today to talk about one of our favorite subjects, working animals. We're familiar with animals as pets, but our show talks about animals as they contribute to everyday lives. And I can say that I'm one of those persons who has a dog that's changed my life, which is my service dog, Whistle. Today we're really excited to have Josh Griffith with us. Josh is the owner of Pet Joy Wire Dog, and he's going to be here today to talk about service dog equipment. Josh's online service dog equipment company called Pet Joy Wire Dog, and he's got extensive knowledge about service dog equipment and supplies, and he's going to talk with us today about his passion for working dogs and working dog equipment. So we'll be right back with Josh Griffith just right after these messages. Thanks so much, and come right back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Hey, ready to take a walk? Not just you, but the whole family. It's the 2009 Whisker Walk, Sunday, June 7th from 11 to 3 at the Lancaster Fairground in Lancaster, Massachusetts. Pet owners and animal lovers walk to lend a paw to benefit the animal shelters and pet charities they love. Come see exhibits, demonstrations, educational programs, special attractions, product giveaways, entertainment, auctions, raffles, food, fun, and things for adults and kids to see, do, and buy, both human and pet related. Whisker Walk 2009, a fun day for everyone. For more information, log on to whiskerwalk.org.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding. Every week, on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com. Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Pet Life Radio. This is Working Like Dogs, and today we have Josh Griffith with us, and Josh is the owner of Pet Joy Wire Dog. So hello, Josh, and thank you for joining us.
Well, hi, Marcy. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you today.
Well, we're so excited you could be with us, and we want to hear all about your organization, Pet Joy Wire Dog, which is an online service dog equipment company. And can you tell us a little bit about it and how you started this?
Sure, Marcy. Well, it's really a funny story. We started off actually as basically just an online pet products retailer, really. And then as time went on, we actually had a pretty sad situation come up in our local town here. We're from a small community, and we actually had a young mother go missing, and it really gripped the entire community. Well, my wife and I got involved with a large search and rescue organization and volunteered with the ground searches in the area. And through that, and through the days that transpired afterwards, we got to spend a lot of time around a lot of search and rescue canines, and we really started to develop a love and an interest in different sorts of working dogs. But it really started in the search and rescue field.
Well, I know search and rescue dogs are so amazing. All working dogs are amazing, and just what they do to help people, and that's a perfect example.
Well, we started again. I was around a lot of those dogs, and we just started doing research on different types of working dogs. So we got to learn a little bit about the search and rescue, and then a little bit about police dogs, and then we really got fascinated when we started to see what these dogs are just able to do. Everything from these wee little dogs to these massive, horse-like pony dogs that are just huge in what they can do for disabled people out there and how they can help them. And it really just gripped us. And I think, Marcy, actually, you were one of the first people we came in contact with as we were educating ourselves. And we just knew that we wanted to start supplying the equipment. It was kind of our contribution. I don't have a service dog, although I've always been a dog lover, and we have 2 dogs ourselves. But it was really just a niche that we felt drawn to.
Yeah. Well, I know when I first saw your site, I just loved it because I've had a service dog, for over 16 years. And it was just so exciting for me to see your site and see all the wonderful products that you had that were really specific, because people always think that working dogs are like pets, and that's one of the biggest things that I've found is I have to educate people that it's very different than a pet. This is a dog that's with you 24 hours a day, that really you put your safety and your life in the hands of this dog. So they need equipment and products that are very different than the average household pet. So how did you start deciding on products?
Well, I think we just did a lot of searching out there. I think what we did is we looked at a lot of things out there, and then we figured out, we looked at it from a couple of different ways, really. We wanted to see how can we make what's currently out there better. And it's like you said, these are working dogs, but I think 2 things. Any person or animal that's doing a job, I think would like to have 2 things. They'd like to have, one, a very good tool set that they work with, and I think number 2, if they can, they'd like to look good doing it. So what we try to do is, we look at a lot of this equipment, and it needs to be durable. It needs to last a long, long time. It needs to be able to take a lot of abuse, but it doesn't need to be ugly stuff either. It can be really nice. So that's really what we've put our focus on, is trying to make stuff that looks good, that fits right in, that's going to be comfortable for the dog, but it's going to be extremely rugged and be there when they're doing their job. Right.
So when you first started out, you said you were really focused on search and rescue dogs. Did you look at products for those types of dogs first to specialize in that?
Yeah, we did, I think, but it didn't take, that's where we started. It really didn't take long, though, when we got ourselves out there and put out our initial offerings with the service dog equipment. It really did not take long for us to realize that we needed to learn a lot of things very, very quickly and talk to a lot of people. And then B, it really didn't take long for that to become our primary focus. And that's really on a day-to-day basis. Our company is Pet Joy Wire Dog, and the reason it's Pet Joy is because that's where we got our initial start, like I said. But Wire Dog is really, if someone were to visit our website, they'd see that Wire Dog, that logo comes up first. That's the first one that you see on the page. And that's our primary focus. That's 90% of what we do now is we're helping people decide what sort of equipment they need for their working dogs and primarily service dogs, Marcy.
Right. And so tell us, how do you do that? If somebody needs some equipment, how do they work with you, Josh?
Well, I think this is one of our strengths here. We love producing equipment. We love manufacturing it. And we have a lot of fun doing it and designing things. But our real strength, and I think if you talk to any of our customers, they'd say this is the customer service. So the way we do that, to answer your question, is we just we have a toll-free number people can call in, and we've got a couple experienced people here on staff, and we just talk with them. We find out a little bit about their dog. We find out a little bit about what they're looking for in equipment, what the use is going to be, what kind of climate they're in. And then we find out maybe what their needs are. If they have mobility needs, then maybe we'll recommend one thing. If it's more of just an identification purpose, then that would be quite another. So really, we're just there for them. I mean, we try to become their friend in a very short phone call that we have with them, and try to help them make the best selection we can.
Yeah, because that's so important, because like you were saying, if you don't have the right equipment, it can really put your dog in an unsafe situation. I know for my dog, Whistle, I have to be so careful that his backpack fits him appropriately and that he has all the tools that he needs to do his job, because that's so critical with the working dog for any type of job that they have.
It really is. Any type of and I keep going back to people because again, I look at these service dogs and I watch and listen to what they do for people, and I look at them as really just these service dogs as just another person, and any person that's out there, any skilled craftsman or any skilled worker needs the appropriate tools in any field, and I don't think that the service dog is any different from the mechanic or the surgeon. You have to have what you need to do your job correctly.
That's right. They're highly skilled animals that need really high quality products. Yeah, which is what I love so much about your site and the philosophy of your organization. I just love that and was so glad to meet you and to learn more about the work that you do, because you really have lots of products on your website. Can you tell us about some of those different products? Give us some examples.
I don't even think I said. Forgive me. The actual website, it is petjoyonline.com, and what you'd find there, and it's funny because since I knew I was going to be coming on with you, we've actually come out with a lot more products. But primarily, our service dog stuff is going to revolve around harnesses, vests, and identification products for those people that have service dogs to be able to let the general public know who really does need some education that this is a working animal. Don't pet it, or if you're going to try to pet it, you need to ask me first. So
yes.
That's really the base of our product offering. But our vest offering and our harness offering has just exploded here over the last 30 to 60 days. We've got some really, really neat stuff there. And again, we never falter on the quality, but we're starting to incorporate a lot of things where people can really kind of snazz these things up and customize them for their dogs, and even still have that really, really strong equipment they need.
Yeah, and make it fun.
So we just came out with a really, really awesome one that we call the Fusion, and basically it's a service dog harness like a lot of the ones you see, but rather than doing the typical patch and stuff that we would normally do, and those are fine too. We do a lot of those, but this one we actually there's a design quality there, so we can talk to the people and we totally customize it, and we use a real high-tech laser machine where we can laser in their dog's name or laser in some graphics for them or even some emergency information if they need it on there. It's right there in the vest on the dog at all times.
That's a great idea. I love that emergency information idea. That's really great. That's so practical. Yeah. I mean, that's really smart. So do you make all the equipment yourself, Josh, or do you get it from other vendors?
Well, a lot of the equipment that we sell on our website, we distribute for other companies, but all of our Wire Dog brand working dog equipment is made right here in Ohio in the United States. We're very, very proud to say that. And we make it all from scratch here. So we're ordering
awesome.
Yeah, it really is, and it's really, really fun. We're ordering in large quantities of fabric, and then we're cutting this stuff down by hand. And that's what's so neat is this stuff, there is not a vest that's just sitting on a shelf that someone's going to buy. They're going to call us. They're going to talk to myself or one of our great employees here, and they're going to tell us. And then that vest is going to go into production for that dog.
Wow, that's great. So when somebody calls in, and tell us, Josh, what's your 1-800 line? Because I know if people don't have access to the internet, they can call you directly. Tell us that number.
Yeah, and we do the majority of our business through the internet. But I'll tell you, if anyone's listening, we sure would love to talk to you. We always prefer that because it really lets us serve you the way we want to. And that number, Marcy, it's toll free 877-773-8569, or a real easy way to remember that, it's 877-7-PET-JOY.
Okay, great. So walk us through. So if somebody needs some equipment for their service dog or any type of working dog, and they're not sure what they need, because as for me, when I got my first service dog, I didn't know anything about dogs and harnesses and that appropriate fit and all those kinds of things. So somebody doesn't have to really know anything. They can just call in and talk with someone at PetJoy Wire Dog, and you can really walk them through that process then, can't you?
Yeah, Marcy, we really can, and a good example happened just this afternoon, and I just thought about this, is we had a lady call in, and she talked to Brandon here, and she has a service dog that's in training, getting ready to wrap up all his stuff but needed some equipment. So Brandon, and this is what you get when you call in and you're not just doing it online. Brandon was able to walk her through, and what we did is we were able to select the vest she wanted and that would be appropriate for her dog. And then while that dog's in training, what we were able to do is customize it and place all her identification and patches that state that the dog's in training on there. But what we did for her is we put them all on there in Velcro. So when this dog's complete with the in-training, she doesn't have to go out and spend more money or rip up her vest trying to seam rip a patch off of there. She can just rip these patches off, and now her service dog's out of training. It's in its work element, and she can just get the other patches and put them right on there. So that's a great example of how Brandon just walked her right through the process and made it real easy and kept it really affordable for her too.
Oh, that is so awesome. I mean, that is so smart. It really is practical, and yet it's so customized to your dog, which is just awesome. That's so exciting, and we want to hear more about this. I want to talk with you after our break more about the equipment and you talking about it being made here in the United States. So we're going to take a quick break to hear from some of our sponsors, and we'll be back with Josh Griffith and to hear more about the wonderful products, the service dog equipment through PetJoy Wire Dog. So please join us. Come back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Greetings, human. What planet am I on?
Welcome to Pet Planet. Here's a copy of Pet Planet Magazine, Florida's most informative and fun pet resource magazine. It features heartwarming stories and informative articles from local and national pet experts.
Excellent.
Pet Planet Magazine offers Operation Planet Rescue, helping rescued pets find new homes. And it's available at 500 locations in South and Central Florida and 24/7 on the internet at PetPlanetMagazine.com. If you're out and about with your pet, you may be featured in Paparazzi, candid pictures of you and your pet. For up-to-date pet-friendly events, activities, and pet-related services and products, Pet Planet Magazine is your final destination.
I shall take this magazine home with me.
Back to your home planet?
No, to my condo in Boca.
Pet Planet Magazine. Check them out at www.petplanetmagazine.com or 352-394-8578. It's out of this world.
When you're looking to add a pet into your life, consider adopting a homeless animal from your local shelter or rescue group. Whether you want a kitten, puppy, or a more mature pet, a purebred or a one-of-a-kind mixed breed, even a rabbit or hamster, your shelter has the best selection of animals anywhere, all screened for good health and behavior. PetLifeRadio.com presents Take Me Home with your host, Susan Daffron. Join us each week as we showcase wonderful pets, tell stories, and even throw some pet education into the mix. So get ready to find out why the pet adoption option can be a great way to add a furry companion into your life. Take Me Home every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com. Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Working Like Dogs at Pet Life Radio, and we're talking today with Josh Griffith with PetJoy Wire Dog, and we want to hear more about all the great information that Josh is sharing with us today about service dog equipment. And Josh, if you could tell us more about, you said earlier that the equipment that you guys make a lot of that yourselves, right in Ohio, in the heart of the United States. Tell us more about that. How do you make the equipment?
Yeah, Marcy, we do make it right here in a little tiny rural farming town in northeast Ohio, and we're very proud of that, and we have a lot of fun doing it. But basically what we try to do, again, we try to make these products extremely durable, but we try to keep them comfortable for the dogs too. So what we always do is we start off with depending on, we have different types of vests, Marcy. If someone might be in Arizona or they might be in Florida, we would try to go with a lightweight mesh vest. And what that does, it just allows the dogs body to be able to breathe a little better, and it makes it really lightweight. If they're somewhere else, then we'll go with a solid version. But what we always do is we start off with a base material for the vest. So on a mesh one, it would be really high strength nylon mesh, and we would do double layers of that for the bigger dogs, and for the smaller dogs we can do a single layer.
What kind of measurements do you get from people, Josh? What do they have to provide you in order for you to get started?
Well, in the way we make these, Marcy, we try to build in a lot of adjustability for the dog. We have a lot of dogs that are growing, so the primary measurement that we want to get from somebody is what we would call the dog's girth measurement, which is basically going to be all the way around the dog at the widest point of the chest, right behind the front legs there. So, Brandon or myself will walk them through getting out a soft tape measure. If they don't have that, we'll get creative, and we'll tell them to go grab their dog's leash and wrap that around and mark it, and then get out the old ruler, and we'll get a measurement that way.
Perfect.
And then we go off that, and then we go off that base measurement, and we build in some leeway each way with that. And then what we do is we build in a really nice thick front chest strap that would go, below the dog's neck on their chest, and that would have maximum adjustability both ways as well. So the real important measurement, though, is that girth measurement. That helps us really zero in on the size dog we're working with. And then from there on the materials, again, we're either going to go with a couple layers of really strong mesh, or we're going to go with a really, really high-density nylon that you would find maybe in luggage or even in some of the military equipment that our armed forces would use.
Mm-hmm. So it's really tough things that you're using that can withstand that everyday daily abuse that working dogs put their equipment through. And so what happens, Josh, if somebody gets a piece of equipment and it's not what they thought, or if they were a little, they didn't get the measurements just right? How do you handle that?
Well, and that's another thing that we've, gotten a lot of compliments on, Marcy. Unless we have something that's been completely customized. What we try to do, again, we try to spend a lot of time on the phone with people, but for the most part, it's a 30-day. If it doesn't fit, you just send it back, and we're going to send you out a new one. It's really no problem at all. The only time we would have an issue is if we spent a lot of time getting into customizing some things, but we've never had anything returned like that because we always spend enough time on the phone with the customer. But our policy, and that can be found on our website too, is if you don't like it, you send it back and we send you a new one, or we give you your money back.
Yeah, that's great. And I know one question people always ask me is equipment mandated by federal law for service dogs? Do you have to have a harness for a working dog?
Right. And you'd think that as a company that sells equipment, Marcy, that we'd want to be careful how we answer. But I'll tell you what, we are very, very. We never want to get equipment in the hands of people just for the sake of us selling our equipment. So to answer your question, no. As I understand the federal law, and I'm not an attorney, but if a dog is trained to assist its handler with a disability, and that dog is clearly a service dog. Our equipment, the way I like to, because we have customers call in and say, do I have to have this? I just really, maybe I can't afford it right now, or now's not a good time, or my dog won't wear a vest. He goes nuts. Do I have to have this? And the answer really clearly is no. And we want to be real upfront, and we want to be real honest with our customers that you don't have to have our equipment to make your dog a service dog. Your dog's a service dog because it's trained to help you. Our equipment, just the way we put it, and we get kind of funny with it, is our equipment helps save a lot of headaches, I think, for people.
Yeah, and I know for me, with my service dog, I have to have the equipment because one of the things that Whistle does is he helps me transfer out of my wheelchair. And so I need to be able to have really good equipment that I can hold on to with a harness that's safe for him to make that transfer possible. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, because people will always ask me that, and I tell them the same thing, that no, you actually don't have to have a harness. However, it certainly makes the process a lot easier for public access because it helps to identify a dog as a working dog. But then it also helps in what you need the dog to do for you. You can incorporate that equipment yourself to help with transfers or to help with stabilizing yourself, to lean on the dog or the other tasks that it does. Another thing Whistle does for me is carrying things, and it's really nice to have some pockets on his harness so that I can put my water bottle or my lipstick or any of those things in. And again, having that works really well is so important.
Right. Yeah, it really is. And you know, the question that you asked about it being mandated by federal law is really where you were talking about the education and how people really do need to become better educated on it. And we have customers calling just in tears, and it's usually because of those access restrictions where they should have been able to go in. It was a legitimate need for them. They have to have that dog with them, Marcy, and
I know it.
Humiliated in public, and it's
I know.
Really just a shame. And I think people think that if it's not a German Shepherd, and you know, that if it's not maybe a seeing eye dog or something like that it's not a service dog, and really
that's right.
That's kind of the secondary part of our business is really helping educate people. And we'll even get calls from businesses who they're not looking to buy anything. They're looking to understand things better. And we're more than happy to explain how we understand things to be when it comes to service dog access.
I know that's a huge issue, and especially as dogs become more sophisticated and can do other things for us, like, I don't know if you just saw the piece that was done recently on peanut sniffing dogs, where now they're training dogs to help people who have severe peanut allergies, just like the bomb sniffing dogs, that they can actually detect peanut and keep their person from jeopardizing their safety by eating that peanut. And of course, those people may or may not be wheelchair users. So like you were saying, people are used to seeing a German Shepherd as a guide dog for someone who has a visual disability. But even myself as a wheelchair user, I'm still shocked at how many times I get stopped and people ask me, is this a pet? Or, try to tell me I can't access a public facility, and I have to stop and educate them that, no, this is not a pet. And I actually carry the ADA law with me, which has made life a lot easier, and I can show that to them and, try to educate them. But it's a constant process of education and awareness.
Absolutely. It really is. And I'm glad to hear that. And I think you're right. I do see on television and in the newspaper and obviously on the internet, we're seeing a lot more attention drawn to that. And I think that's just dynamic.
Yeah, it's amazing. I am just always so blown away at how dogs can really assist people with all different types of disabilities. And I always thought that I was pretty independent until I got my first service dog. And it really changed my life tremendously. And one of the things that I love that you and I talked about when we first met was how you sell the different identification patches through your business, how you can get that to identify your dog as a working dog, and how sensitive you guys are to that, to making sure that it's not someone that's using those patches inappropriately and trying to say that they have a working dog, because that's a whole big issue where people want to say that they have an assistance dog when in fact it really is a pet.
Yeah, it really is, and we have to be careful because we work with a lot of service dog training organizations, and we do some work for them. But we're out there on the World Wide Web, and we're accessible to anybody, and we really have to go a lot on an honor system. But we've learned we ask some really good screening questions without overstepping any boundaries, because we really, really do want to protect those rights for the people that need them. I think anytime you have a right out there, it gets abused in one way or another. But yeah, we've had that happen, and we've had to be probably a little more assertive than we like to be with people at times. But we're committed to again protecting the job that those dogs do. That where they're really out there helping a handler. We have to do that.
Well, and that's what I tell people, because they'll ask me those questions, and I tell them, because I've had friends that have asked me if they could borrow my dog's backpack for their pet. And I say, no, because it's just so important that we protect the access rights for people that really need it. And, that's what I try to tell people is please don't jeopardize that, because so many people need their working dogs with them in public. And if they can't have that because other people jeopardize it by trying to break those rules and pushing the envelope and being inappropriate, then it really jeopardizes the independence of so many people. So I'm so glad that your company really is sensitive to that and tries to honor that, because it's really important for working dogs.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more important out there right now than that. And, we're very, very clear, even with our search and rescue market, and quite frankly, even with our police market, that those are great jobs those dogs do. That's not a service dog, though. It really isn't.
Right,
so we have to be very, very clear how we explain that to people.
Well, in addition to vests and harnesses, I know you have lots of other things on your website, including the book, Working Like Dogs. I have to say, we're thrilled that you have that on your website. But what other useful things do you think are on there that people could pay attention to when they visit your site?
Oh, my goodness. Marcy, we probably have just about anything you could think of, from collars and leashes to flea and tick treatments for your dog with spring and summer coming up, we carry really, really high-end crates, and those are primarily used a lot in our police and military market, but we see people that really want to invest in a good solid crate for their dog. Look at those. So anything. I mean, we have agility equipment. We have police bite work training equipment. A lot of specialty stuff that you're not going to find at a big box pet store. But we got a lot of pet supplies too, because hey, a working dog is still a dog, and it still needs the kennels, and still needs to be treated for flea and ticks, and needs the feeding accessories and things like that. So pretty much anything except food you're going to find on our site for your dog.
Well, Josh, that is just so wonderful, and I'm so sorry we're out of time, because I would love to hear more about some of these supplies and things that you have on the website, but I just can't thank you enough for spending time with us today and talking about service dog equipment and all the wonderful things that are at petjoyonline.com, and I hope that our listeners will check it out and see all the great things that they could get for their working dogs and all the other wonderful information that you have on your website. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Marcy, for having us. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, well, we want you to come back and we can talk more. So thank you, Josh, and we also want to thank our producers for making Working Like Dogs possible. And we thank you so much for joining us. And you can go to PetLifeRadio.com and check out Working Like Dogs. We'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or comments or ideas for a future show. So thank you so much. This is Marcy Davis and Whistle, and we hope you'll join us again.
You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.